can you guys introduce your own selves actually? Because these guys have both already been on the podcast.
I'm Siobhan. I'm Diren's best friend, as you can tell by my third appearance on the podcast.
Oh shit! So what happens is when I can't get anyone else, I just invite her.
It's a pity invite. He just wanted Sinead on. It was just happening in my guy.
I've already had her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you are?
Oh hi, I'm Sinead, and don't really know how to describe myself.
Drunk.
I'm very drunk right now. No, I'm not mad drunk. I had a few points on martinis, just got to London, feeling the vibes, like, you know, I've been in my country town.
She's doing that, you know, I've had 3 drinks and I'm loaded.
Yeah, you know me, I have one drink and I'm like, I'm drunk. That happens.
Well, you're celebrating being in the best city in the world.
Yeah, it's a vibe, like. I haven't really spent much time in London, to be honest.
In Lisbon? Lisbon? I was thinking of a city there real fast.
Yeah, any city. What, have you spent much time here before?
No. I lived in Essex for a year. That's really random, but I lived there for a year. I have been here randomly.
Sorry, carry on.
I've been here really randomly, sporadically, but like never. I don't have a clue where I am right now. Like I couldn't tell you where that is.
Wandsworth.
It's the Thames.
That's Fulham. That's River Thames.
Yeah, I don't know where I am. When I'm walking, I'm just vibing. Like I'm just walking. Don't know where I'm going. So
I'm trying to get her to use Google Maps, but
no, I'm using Google Maps and getting there. Like
yeah, I hear you.
But you know what I mean.
And what about you? You spent time here?
Yeah, I've been here for, long weekends, a week or so. I love London. Like, I just love walking around, city vibes, nice cafes, like, so many people, and, like, loads of different areas. Like, I love that you can, you know, go to one high street, go to another high street in a different area, and it's, like,
mate,
a different place.
If you know what? If you guys got time one day, I'll take you to where I was raised. You'll see it.
Oh, yeah, no, I drove by there the other day.
Where?
And
like, around there?
Yeah.
Oh, when you were...
This is like, that's where Diren grew up, and I was like, oh, it looks lovely.
When you drove from...
We were going to Stansted.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that it's a different world.
Why?
Different sort of people. It's like, so what happened in, say, for example, when my parents, when they came here as refugees, they all put like certain ethnicity groups in one area. So you go to, say, North London, you get all the Turks, the Kurds, you get some Jamaicans. You go to Hackney, all the Jamaicans and the Turks are there. You go to East London, you got the Lithuanians, the Polish, and this and that. So from those cultural backgrounds, you obviously you create a certain type of culture, and the culture goes to other kids through. If I was in school with you, if I went to school with you, there's no 100% you'd learn a Turkish word by the time you finish school, and you'd know more about Turkish people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How drunk are you?
Stop playing with the microphone.
No, what happened was I had to burp there. Sorry.
That's fine.
I was like, I can't. Burping Prosecco.
We should have told her how to use the mute button.
So we use what? So you having cocktails or what?
No, I had a few cocktails. Like we went for lunch and then just had a few cocktails. But
this is a problem with walking everywhere, though. It's like, why not have a drink?
No, but you know what?
Like everyone's, you're like, why not have a drink?
Everyone's available here. Like obviously, I've been living in the country for the last few months, and I'm by myself all the time, like during the week. And then come the weekends, I'm like, oh my god, this is a vibe. But like during the week, I'm by myself, so like I'm just buzzing.
I love how much you exaggerate time. A few months. It was about 3 weeks.
It was 4 weeks.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a full month there.
But even here, like, I don't know if you noticed, like, you lived in Sydney. You didn't really rate Sydney, did you?
Do you remember we were there those 3 weeks and the weather was terrible and we were bored? Like, I was literally like, Diren, hello. You don't know me that well, but do you want to go for a walk?
But it's not about, like, when you go on holidays in Sydney.
That's what I learned. I had good fun when I was with you and your friend, like the weekends with friends, with people, and I saw the communities you guys had. I was like, oh yeah, I can see why you'd like it, but I wouldn't be like popping over for a visit.
You didn't spend enough time there.
Yeah.
And also, when you went there, you were in a complete different place in the state of, when I was in Australia, when I built that group of friends, this stuff that we do now, social media, we never had that. You probably didn't have that at the time, did you? Like, did you have a social media following when you created all of that?
I mean, not a social media following to the point where like anyone would come up to me, but like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I did do stories and stuff.
But like you were
just
very
for fun.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
you did, like when you. Oh yeah, I suppose that was when you left Thailand. When we met, is when you first went to Australia.
That was when I hated men.
Yeah,
I did the Cunt Diaries.
What's that?
So, have you never watched the Cunt Diaries? You have to watch it after this.
Well, if it's about hating men, I'm definitely not.
Yeah, it's about hating men. So basically, I just didn't want a man to touch me. I didn't, like, if they ever talked to me, I was like, no, I hate you. And he was like, you don't know me. And I was like, I just hate you. I don't want to be around you.
Hate or hit? I can't understand
Yeah,
your accent.
hate.
Hate. Oh, okay.
I just went through a stage in my life and I just didn't want men around me. So I did like a full year strike and it was called the Cunt Strike. Men's strike.
Is that
she made up for it
upset
since.
you? Is that because someone upset you?
Yeah, that was like the breakup of 2018 that was hectic.
But do you reckon
Hectic.
one individual should, like, you should assume all of us are like this?
No, but every girl needs that time where they protect their heart and they're like, no one is getting in until I'm fully ready, until I fully love myself and I'm ready
I've been doing that for a while.
Till you have a few drinks. No, I'm joking.
No, even a few drinks would have made me worse at that time. I was like, no, don't talk to me.
And you were, so how did this all happen? You were in 2018.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw your stuff on socials, probably through you.
Yeah, she came up to me in Thailand.
That's fangirl.
Oh, really?
Fully.
She's like,
From
hey,
day
we just
one.
happened to be in the same country at the same time.
No way.
Can we go for
Awkward.
dinner? And I was like, yes, sure.
That's
Let's
very
go for
true.
food.
She sent my voice and I nearly died.
Really?
You know when you're like excited? I was excited.
Oh no, she has a highlight of me on her Instagram and like her first story is like, oh my god, I just think like it's so strange that this girl that I'm obsessed with is here at the same time. And
That's
like, is
so
that not
cute.
I know
No, I
it's
live
so
with her.
nice. Like, it's
But
like,
you know what? That shows how genuine you are.
yeah.
That shows how genuine you are.
Or how stalker I am.
Nah. Genuine, I think.
I successfully infiltrated her
But
life.
don't you reckon so many people don't show that? I try to do that as much as I can in the sense of, because I think people like seeing that, because I don't feel a lot of people on social media, they're not like that enough.
Vulnerable?
They don't show that, or I guess ego doesn't allow them to, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, be like, ooh, yeah, like that you're actually excited to meet
Like,
someone.
how you
or-
actually feel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I remember, when was it? I think, to be honest, I didn't really get excited over anyone at Body Power when I first went.
Oh no,
No,
but,
come on.
but when you first
were
met
excited
me,
about someone.
I
when you
wasn't.
first met me,
I wasn't.
Oh yeah, you. No, him.
I didn't meet you at Body Power.
no.
Oh,
No,
did
but I mean, like, you're bound to be excited about someone. Who have you ever been starstruck
do you know who
over?
I was? I remember.
a lot of people, but not. I'm saying it was never really someone in the fitness. Brett Contreras, I got really excited about when I was in San Diego. That was pretty
Alright.
cool. Like, he was the one person in the fitness industry. I was like, oh, this is fucking unreal. Love his work and all that stuff. But anyone else in the fitness industry, I never really got into it. It was always more so like footballers, athletes in
Like
general. Like who? I don't know. Like, I'll put it like this: we was at Soho Farmhouse the other week. Saw Frank Lampard. We were all in budgies. He was looking over.
Oh.
Just ran up to him, like, Frank, legend, love ya. Bang, shook his hand, and I went, and he laughed because we're all in budgies and we're having a laugh. And it's the sort of place where you kind of don't do that, I guess.
Yeah.
But you could tell, you know, when someone looks at you and gives you that energy where they're like, they want you to notice.
Yeah.
And I just clocked that straight away, and I was like, I went over and I just showed him some love, and like, you can tell he loved it. So anyone like that,
Yeah.
I will go and. But there's a lot of people, man. actors
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
was telling her, I was like, my most starstruck is Snoop Dogg, like, hands down.
Have you seen
Because
Snoop Dogg?
I worked for Snoop Dogg, like I did. So
What?
Before all of
And
Instagram.
that 50 Cent, I don't know, Usher.
That's sick.
Yeah,
I met Usher. He was a prick to me.
He was sound to me. He poured
Yeah,
me
of
some
course, because you're a
champagne.
female.
No, it was for 2 nights. The first night, like, sorry, go on, tell
Go
us.
on,
sometime.
go on. You
But
set
we
up.
both kind of had that similar
Yeah, we
background.
had
We
a
worked in
similar
clubs.
Yeah, and I worked in Magaluf, so I was the like entertainment manager there, so like looked after all the DJs, like so like big like Snoop Dogg, Avicii, like all those, like looked after
Avicii.
them for years, for 6 years. That was my job, and it was one of the best jobs in the world. And I wouldn't have left that job, only like we had shut down for like 2 years due to like Magaluf was kind of like all over the place, and I had the best job ever. I never wanted to leave until I left because I had to, and then that's when like everything happened for me.
Yeah, that's because
So
you're.
that was a good job. That was a vibe.
But that's because you're both people's people.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
think-
And I
struggled
learned
with
everything
at the time.
there. Yeah.
I was my full-time job was like a financial software consultant.
What?
Yeah, like I
Oh
was
yeah.
creating software for, or not creating, like testing software for the
Episode 3. Episode
pension
3.
administration. And then
That's hectic.
then on the weekends I was going off and doing like, I was like getting dressed up, done up to the nines, and I was like head hostess in a nightclub, you know, whatever, hanging out with Usher, 50 Cent, and then back to real work. And then I was like, that's why I was struggling. I was like, I'm such a people person, but like I also like technology, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah, but don't you reckon? So I'm reading a lot of stuff about coaching, but more so behavior, the emotional intelligence, that sort of stuff, more so than the technical stuff, which I think I've naturally been kind of good at.
Yeah, so I was in the emotional and
Yeah.
I think being a people person is like, having that emotional intelligence, like, is what people are, that's a sign of success.
I reckon that's the only reason I know you guys and you guys know me. Just because of that, because you're open to a conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
Even when I first chatted to you, it was like, hey, are you coming to Bali?
Yeah.
Can you bring me? Like, I could have turned around and said, no, I don't know you. Why would I? Do you know what I mean?
You're asking for stuff.
No, we would already been chatting. Like, even when I was like, oh, I think I'm going to, like, we'd been following each other, and I think I'd seen they were in Bali before. I was like, I think I'm going to Bali, and you were like, okay, you sent me a video back, and you were like, yo, you need to go to Canggu.
Yeah.
And I wrote it on my whiteboard, like CHA, like, didn't know how to spell it. I was like, okay. And then that's happened to you where my other friends are going. I was like, weird. And then so we're chatting all, but then when he was coming over a couple of months later, I was like, you're coming from the UK, I needed my protein delivery.
Yeah.
And he brought some stuff over, and then
But I could have said no.
yeah, but
And
you're
the reason I'm saying that is like, whereas a lot of people, they with that sort of mindset of like not knowing someone, they're like, why would I do a good deed for someone I don't know? Because really, I didn't know you didn't know me. So when people are like more open-minded into, because you get a lot of people that I don't have many friends, but I just feel like you don't have friends because you don't open up, you don't create these opportunities.
People often not say, why do you influencers all hang out together, or why do you, it's like, because we're on that similar vibe, like, I don't know, like, it doesn't have anything to do with followers or
No,
does it? Or is it just like it's because we have the same attitude?
But let's be real, like, we all know each other because somebody, like, that's why we know why we know each other.
What? Because of socials?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It does. I suppose it
but
does
it's amazing.
get your attention.
How cool is that?
When someone,
Yeah, no,
It's
really
so cool.
It does get your attention, like when someone messages about something and they have lots of followers. Then you might, you might end up interacting more.
But it's also
because of that. But I don't know if that's.
Yeah.
But it's not. People are like, oh, why do you all hang out with each other? But I'm like, why do I hang out with people that I meet everywhere? Everywhere I go, I meet people who know me, and it's the best feeling because
it's cool.
For
It's
me,
cool.
even Siobhan, right? When you meet people, right, and you introduce me, you're like, this is Sinead, and they're like, oh, what does she do? Tell them what I do. And then she goes, oh, but she's not like one of those. Like, she's actually like really sound, and like she's really like.
I said that.
Like, you like try to defend me as if like, and they look at me like, oh, she's one of them. Like, gets her ass out.
Well,
or
I mean,
something.
I'm one of those as well. No.
No, but at the same time, you try to defend me in that way. But like when I meet people who know me from socials, they're like, what about such and such and da da da. They know my crack. They know the vibes, and then they just start chatting to me, and I'm like, you're my new best friend tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's better for me because people judge me straight up if they don't know me. They're like, oh, you're one of them.
Yeah.
And that's my trigger.
Yeah, because she's good looking.
But-
I mean, that isn't. I mean, people can think that you have a following because you're good looking, but then they actually see your content. They're like, oh, she's actually smart.
Yeah, she's sound.
Oh,
I get that a lot.
Is
And
that
they're
what
like,
they
oh,
say,
you're
yeah?
actually sound.
Yeah, no, but I think, it's kind of not their fault. They maybe shouldn't have that mindset. People shouldn't have that mindset with anyone anyway. But you can't blame them. Look at the fucking idiots online.
That's what I mean. Like, most people gather a following.
Like, you can say any name. I don't care. There's so many fucking idiots. Most of like the bodybuilding fitness scene, I can't relate to them. I don't think they're relatable.
I don't even know
to
who
them.
they are. I don't
But
think
neither do I. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I've actively been unfollowing them.
They don't relate to you. That's why you don't know them. You don't invest to know them because it doesn't do anything for you. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, to be honest, if anything, I've actively unfollowing bodybuilders because I used to follow them as inspiration when I was competing and all that, and now it's almost triggering. So I have to be like, and a lot of them I'm like, oh, why? Like, I don't even know the person. Like, I still follow some athletes that I know well, but most people I'm like, why does that person? That person only has a million followers. Like, they never speak.
Yeah,
we don't know them at all. They literally have a million followers because of their body. And I'm like, why am I following them? And I'm like, and I realised I followed them originally because of what they look like. But I much prefer to follow sound people.
150%. Why did you go to Bali first?
She follows me around.
Yeah. And you follow me around, which is why we're in London.
Oh,
circle.
He's after figuring it out.
What is happening here? That's actually weird.
Do you remember you were trying to get me to meditate at some point?
I've been
always trying to get you to meditate.
No. Do you remember?
I've always been trying to get everyone to meditate. It's always
We always said like we can't wait for Diren to be woke. Because you'd be all like, God,
What does that mean though? I don't know what that means.
just more mindful. So like we were delighted when you rang us that day.
Oh yeah, I wanted to share it with you guys. Yeah, it did happen over a mushroom trip. Which was,
Yeah, but that's how it happens.
it was mad. No, I think it was already there, but it tapped into where I could go.
Yes.
So when
And now
I'm-
you're obsessed with trying to get back there.
so
Have you
when-
read The Power of
And I already
Now?
have. I got it back just around the corner. Actually, there's a
Yeah, like
float
just
place.
meditating.
The float
I got there
place. I wanna
with.
go. I saw that.
Yeah, it's just there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
know them.
walked
They're
by.
real cool. They're real cool. So, okay, for everyone listening, whatever, I did DMT as well, which was unreal. And I got to where I got to with DMT on that float.
Oh, yeah, but you're going to get
Let's
there
go
with
and do the
DMT.
float.
Huh?
You are going to
No,
get there
no,
with
no.
DMT.
He's saying the float was
Oh,
as good.
without DMT?
Yeah. I
I've not
got
even
there.
checked DMT, so I can't even.
I
But
got
I've
there.
heard everyone talk about it.
I got there, but I'm not gonna lie. The DMT didn't do much for me compared to the mushrooms.
Really?
Yeah, it was too quick.
It was
I
your
didn't
first
do it.
one.
I
Like
haven't done it.
your
too
first trip
quick.
was mushroom, so
The mushroom trip, I like the length, the how
4
long
hours.
it took. 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
hours. I think mine was like 6 hours.
We did it in Gilly Tea, and we were. I think I was expecting more. Like I was expecting more out of it.
funny. I can't even do.
What do you mean?
She was so funny because she wanted to observe her thoughts so much. But
I really
you don't
wanted to.
think. Like you're completely present in the moment, and all you want to do is like love your life, and like you're just completely in this. So to be fair, like I've actually done a bit of like like left brain, right brain studies on like meditating, and I'll show you after like the left brain and
Why don't you
right.
tell me now?
No, but
Yeah, because
basi-
I've also like the left brain, right brain. Like, so, I mean, just because
So,
I
like-
listen to these neuroscience.
like
stuff.
when you're on like mushrooms or anything, you're in this complete zone,
Yeah.
and the other part of your brain doesn't want to be, and that's when it wants to be rational, and
Yeah.
then you're trying to get into this, but like the best thing is to try and get into both. So with your left and right brain, you want to connect it with your corpus callosum, which is in the middle, and the only thing that grows and progresses your corpus callosum is meditation. So you want to connect your intuition with your rational brain, and you want to pit them together.
Yeah.
But like when you're on mushrooms, that part of
I-
your brain, that right brain, does not want to, like, you're literally completely present.
Because I feel like certain things this sounds crazy, but they've all heard the other episodes before and they like it. So when I did it,
Okay.
I feel like a certain passage in my mind opened up, right?
yeah,
And certain things connected in my brain that allowed me to have more of those thought processes and to be able to get to that depth again. But what I also realized when it was happening was everything was times 10, right? Every emotion,
Yeah.
everything was more intense, right? So if you were thinking about trying to be there and trying to get something out of it, probably the pressure of that times 10, therefore you didn't get much out of it, which you possibly could have if you were just chilled.
yeah. No, I mean, we did just chill. It wasn't like we literally just lay there. I mean, I didn't. Like I think I've had those thoughts. Like I've literally been in deep meditation, or even just been so mindful over the last couple of years. I'm so present, like reading through The Power of Now and A New Earth, and like reading pages a day. Like I'm so like connected with nature. I'm probably less so now than I was before.
I'm going to ask you something about that as well.
But yeah, so like I would, be looking at nature. Like I'd go for walks and be like amazed by the trees and everything. And I think that's what mushrooms did for me. But then I was kind of like, I already felt like that. Like, like it kind of gives that like clarity around like the connection between nature and ourselves, and the sunset was the most unbelievable
Mate, you're
thing I've
more
ever seen.
connected to Earth.
Yeah, I know. That's it. But I think I was
couldn't stop
expecting.
saying whoa. I was like, whoa.
She was just
Whoa. I can stop laughing. I mean, the first time you did it with me the first time. That was your first time, wasn't it?
That was my first time.
Okay, yeah. So I've done it before. And I was just like, whoa. Whoa. I couldn't believe it. But then the next day I had my first spiritual awakening, and I was like, oh, I wonder why I had
You
a
had your
spiritual
first what?
spiritual awakening.
Spiritual.
Okay.
Spurt.
Spiritual
go on.
awakening. And then so I was like walking up a hiking.
Oh, yeah.
I was hiking by myself in Koh Tao in Thailand, and I was just hiking, but I was bawling my eyes out crying because I was heartbroken, and I was like, oh my god, I'm by myself, I'm alone, blah blah blah. But then this dog came and stopped me crying because it really scared me, and the dog stayed with me through the whole hike. And I was like, the first time I was like, something is here. It's looking after me. And it was like, and then it was the next day, and I'm like,
So that is you're going to ask me something about the power now.
I'm going to ask you after I'm going to ask something that you just said and that you just said.
Okay.
When you had that awakening, have you had that awakening?
Yeah.
Okay. Are any of you religious?
How long have you got? I mean, I
pray.
Okay. Are you religious though? Do you believe in God?
But I believe God and universe.
You believe in something.
I prayed. Yeah, I pray.
When you do those sort of things, like when you have that spiritual awakening, which I'm sure I have had now, it does make you question about things after. Does it not?
What things after?
Wait, did you start a question? Were you religious before?
No, I was never really religious. No, I wasn't religious. But I understood why people were religious. And when I was going through this stuff, I was thinking about, I understand why people that believe in God, that go to church, that go to mosques, could they be having the same feeling we're having with their religion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
because like when people are praying 7 times a day, it's like they're meditating. Possibly.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So it's like there's that link.
Let me tell you, I used to be so I was an altar server, like Catholic, grew up, was on the altar server. You're literally the child on thing helping the priest give out the everything.
Oh, okay.
And then I rebelled when I was like 16, and I was like, this does not make sense. Like I was in school learning science, and I was like, this does not make sense. And I actually started, like, I was so atheist that, like, I was fighting my family about it when they were still going to mass. I'm like, why are you like, this doesn't make sense? And then so that's the way I, obviously studying maths and science and everything, I was like, this does not make sense. Anyway, then in Thailand, had that spiritual awakening, like, just been like, there is, and like, before I read the books or anything, I was like, there's something I can't explain.
Yeah.
There's just something there that I was like, but I had no words for it. And then I kept talking to someone about it. I was like, is this, like, how can I explain this? Because I was like, but there's no answer in science. And then I read The Power of Now, and I was like, okay, there's no word for it. It's this, like, sense that there's connection, like, and then I was like,
energy.
And I was like, oh, that's what some people are thinking of as God. Because I just think some people were crazy talking to a man in the sky. Like, I literally was like, what? But I was like, oh, maybe they have a different meaning. Everyone has their own meaning of what God is to them. And then I was like, okay. And I had so much more respect for all religions then. Even the concept of Allah, like, I can understand people, like, praising Allah. I'm like, okay, they it might not be that they're talking about a specific person, I was like, maybe it's just like an energy, or maybe it's their own. But then I also think there are people who are tied up in, like, Catholicism and the rules of the of the Catholic Church, and I'm like, they're not religious. They're just. Is it called dogmatic? I don't know if that's that word means.
I'm not too sure, but I understand what you're saying.
I wouldn't expect.
Do you feel the same?
As in, like, no, because I would pray, right? So I will pray, like,
to who?
So every night I'll say, thank you for getting me home safe. Thank you for getting
who are you praying to, though?
To whoever got me there safe. Like, it's like, it may be God.
Okay.
It may be universe. I would usually think of universe or love. Like, I feel like there's one whole connection of love or universe that I would manifest or ask things for, and then I just believe that they come to me in terms.
Okay.
So, but I don't care if it's God, or I don't care if it's anything, like, as long as I'm grateful for them. So I say thank you. Like, I would pray at night. Like, I say thank you.
You're manifesting all that good energy. That's
but
what you're doing.
Why sit there and be like, oh my God, today was so shit, when I could be like, thank you for getting me home safe. Thank you for getting my mom home safe. Thank you. Like, that's always what I've done. Like, especially when I'm in cars, like, I don't know, it's like my mom always prayed in the car, so I just.
So does my mom. My mom does all that as well. Like, my mom doesn't seem the most religious person, but she always, every time I fly somewhere, every time I go away, she's always praying, or she'll message me, be like, may Allah keep you safe or something, but I don't know if it's to comfort her.
No, but it's surrender. So this is what I say about spiritual. What's wrong with our society, or what our generation is that we're taking on all anxiety by ourselves. Like, we're worried about the exams, we're worried about our jobs, we're worried about finance, and like what our grandparents did is they left it to God, and they left it to surrender. and they left the worries. If somebody was sick, they would pray and they would leave it, whilst our generation is just taking it on.
See, that's a big problem now. So since like even recently, I'm becoming like I'm just learning so much. Like like all I want to do is study about anything. Like, and I'm just learning, and a lot of it is like disproving these ideas I had around going, oh, that's just God or energy, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, even like what you're saying about the brain there, because I've just been, I'm like, okay, well, obviously not physically, you know, but you're saying left and right. I'm like, okay, well, obviously that's not physical, but like it's a concept, and I was like, okay, I like I think of things as a concept, and even asking, you know, manifesting. I'm like, okay, I understand. Obviously, I can understand why you're like, oh, you ask for things and it comes to you, but like what that does is put into your subconscious that that's what you want, and you will even subconsciously start making decisions
based around
towards
that.
on what you want,
Or start taking action.
Now I'm going to suggest something for everyone here.
Wait, let me just finish it. But I just want to say that science doesn't explain everything, so I still believe there's something there.
Wait. So have you watched the documentary with Joe Dispenza? He explained it in science, and then I'm like, fucking hell, my spiritual shit. He just explained in science.
I don't know. I don't think you can.
I haven't heard great things about Joe Dispenza.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I have no comment, but
oh really?
I think what you think of as science isn't like peer reviewed studies. You know, it's like, oh,
I thought Joe Dispenza was.
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't actually read any of his stuff, but I've heard people that I like. I suppose discrediting him, so I'd need to actually look at it before making a decision. But that's the things to look out for. It's like just because people use. I don't know.
Yeah, but you can't explain spirituality. There's
You
no
can
science that can explain that.
You can or can't.
You can't. Like, there's no.
You just said Joe Dispenza did.
Yeah, but he explained manifesting in science terms.
I love the way you two are, because you're so
but
like.
these are the
you want to see your conversations that we have.
It's like me and James are like this as well. Like we just.
No, but
we
like
have rational
so
conversations, and it's good because it is like we've learned. Like, and I respect it. Like I've learned to stop going, no, Sinead, that's not true. You know, like I've learned to go, okay, she likes to think that. Yeah. What's the harm? It's only if she's like spreading something wrong or something that I'd be like, or like doing harm to someone, or you know, which obviously she isn't.
And I'm like a fairy. I'm like, oh, everything's right and spiritual, and she's like, no, Sinead, calm yourself. You need the science behind that before you explain that, and then that makes me like think a little bit more.
She's like, oh, I'll just tell everyone that if they ask for anything from the universe, it'll work, and I'm like,
it does work, by the
way. But like, think of it like people who
works
manifest
if you take action.
Everyone that's speaking about it. As people who has worked for you. You're not looking at all these people who have manifested things that never showed up. They're not talking about it.
Yeah, because they're not taking action.
Yeah, or it maybe
they're not listening to their emotions.
No, it's none of that bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
No, they're not taking action.
I'm in the middle, like I'm. Like,
no, so you have to listen to the action, and then you take action.
No, you don't.
But it comes to you in emotions.
No, but what happened? Okay, I'll put like, since I was young, I've always had the mentality of, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna make it happen. I want a nice car. I do want a family one day. I want to enjoy riches with my family and take my parents here and this and that. I'm going to make that happen. I'm manifesting that with good energy, as well as waking up early and taking action and doing my work. Do you know what I mean? What I feel like is, I understand what you're saying. You're a very likable character. So that energy that you put out, a lot of people, if you did nothing, a lot of people will come to you and be like, we need to give her this. Because you're likable. Most people are not. That's the sad truth. So therefore, if they don't take action from what you're saying and you're giving a positive message, some people are like sitting there going, I'm manifesting this shit. Nothing's happening. Yeah, of course you're not. Because
yeah, but you can't just manifest it and then think it's going to happen. It doesn't work like that. I've explained that many times. You manifest something, you listen to your emotions and you take action. We all know that. But then you have to also believe. Like, manifesting isn't you just visualising it works. Do you believe you deserve what you're manifesting? So let's just say I manifest £1 million. Do I actually deserve that? No. First of all, I got to go to fucking therapy and get out all my self-beliefs and all the conditions that I've learned in my hometown. Like, everyone tells you that you can't,
why would I need to go to therapy if I've got £1 million?
Yeah, but like so if, say for example, you want to manifest, you want to believe that you're the successful person and you manifest it, and I'm like, okay, so say I manifest £1 million, do you actually believe that? No, of course I don't. Sure, no one in my fucking hometown has £1 million, so why the fuck would I believe that? So I have to go to therapy and unconditioned, like, then you have to go back to your childhood. Every single time I was in school, I got put down. Someone told me I wasn't good enough, and I have to go through those things.
Quick question. If you already believe that, then why do you need a
Yeah, but-
therapist to confirm
Yeah, but
it?
you don't believe that when you're manifesting it, and that's why you got to go through self-belief.
No, I believe that shit.
So but if you believe that, then that's fine. That's going to happen. But like, I truly was like, okay, I'll manifest this, but I don't believe that. Like, all my conditions have told me otherwise. Like, do you know what I mean?
But don't you think? Say, I'm not saying you can't do that.
Yeah.
Don't you think removing yourself from that environment might be easier and cheaper?
No, because you've got for me, I had condition patterns in my own head that
Like
I
what?
had
If you don't mind
for me when
asking.
I went to therapy, when I was even pricing anything that I was doing at work, I didn't want to price myself. And I wanted to give it out for free, everything for free. I didn't care.
You didn't value yourself.
I didn't value myself, and like to sit down and be like, okay, why do you think that? Like, I went through every teacher, everything that said something to me that made me believe that I wouldn't get where I would be. And to this day, sometimes I still get that knack in my head. Like, it's crazy to me. But I had to go through all that and be like, that is a random person that said that thing to me. That is another random person that said that I couldn't be this or I couldn't be that. That doesn't mean that I can't be that. So you had to realize that's a random person's opinion. So I had to go through all that stuff. Like, I didn't believe it. Like, I was like, oh, like, I want all this stuff, but I wasn't actually believing it.
Okay.
So then you have to go through.
You're saying you had
Then
to
you take action.
recondition yourself.
Oh, 100%. But you need to recondition yourself. And
Yeah. Which is why when fucking Boris and opens up everything and when life is back to normal, that's why traveling is so important, I think. Like,
Yeah,
putting
see,
yourself-
it's, oh God, traveling through Thailand in 2017 changed my view on the world. Like, I was like, these, especially seeing, and even still in Bali, like, seeing people that, obviously seeing people that don't have much things, and they're really happy. Like, that's one thing that gives you great perspective. But it was actually an attitude to work that I saw. Like, I used to remember in Thailand, you'd see the ladies sitting outside the massage parlours, and they're just like, there's just loads of people there ready for when you want to get a massage or get your nails done. And I was always like, but that doesn't make sense to have that many people working if there's no demand at this time. And I was like, they're not really out there for a career. Like, they're just there to provide a service in the town, and they're not, and I was like, that, and so is the person next door who's selling the shop. Like, they're not making a fortune, but they're
happy with what they have.
Yeah, and it's a different attitude to work. It's like an attitude. It's like provide a service for the town. It's quite a like communal thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that and that kind of attitude where it's not like everyone's out for themselves. Like, they'd probably be like, why would I sit here while she gets to do the massage? Like, and earns the money. They obviously share the money. Because it wouldn't make sense if you're sitting there all day not doing it. So that kind of idea that we're the
Those
community all
countries,
services.
people are way more selfless.
Yeah, that's the impression I got. Or like, I just realised that you can have a different attitude to work. And, because of course I grew up, thinking I wanted to be an actuary because it was like the highest paid career at the time that I thought was accessible to me. And then, and even I was working in recruitment, and I'd see people that would do anything to get a job that meant they had a better title. They'd be like, they'd even take the same money, but if the title was better,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, so I was like, but it doesn't matter. Or like, so traveling, I think, really does change your attitude, and meeting people from all different cultures who have different values, and you realise it makes you question your own values. And I think that's important to always, question your own values and what's important to you, because it could be like, you can still be career driven as long as you know that it's what you want and why you want it, and not to do it to impress other people.
No,
but,
I hear you.
Yeah, traveling really did that.
You the thing I was going to ask you was, you read a lot when you travel, right?
Yeah, which is every day.
So when I'm doing all this meditation stuff, people like mention that book.
The Power of Now.
There's another one.
A New Earth.
No, another one.
The Secret.
No. Alchemy.
The Untethered Soul.
The
The Alchemist. Oh, that's a nice story. You can listen to that on Audible.
I love that one.
Boring.
Have you read the whole thing?
Listened to it for 15, 20
No.
minutes. I was
Oh,
like,
you didn't finish
You have
it.
to finish it.
There's
The
a-
whole ending of it is so beautiful, and it
No,
gets
right.
you through.
Like, will I summarise it for you?
No, it's
not
fab.
that.
Okay.
Not
No,
for
we-
me, for other people that
Okay.
listen might not want to hear it. But what I was going to say is, about that is, do you feel like, now, I'm fully support people that read, and I think people should read to learn, but I think people get nowadays they get really carried away with it, and it's sometimes no
Carried
honestly,
away with
You're
learning.
talking to like the two biggest readers you've ever read.
no, which is, no, good. This is why
Yeah.
I'm asking you,
Okay.
So
because now I like to have a conversation with someone from their experience, from what they've learned from a book, and maybe applied something and heard it. Every time I chat to someone, or even like influencers, and every time they drop me a quote from a book, I'm like, so what the fuck are you doing? Why don't you tell me
so
what
what
you've learned?
blows my mind.
Do you understand
is
what I mean?
How much information is available?
Do you
Like,
understand what I mean?
no, that doesn't make sense because there is so much knowledge out there.
Yeah.
Life, like you can learn about other people's lives, other people's cultures, everything from a book, from a couple of pound on a page.
Yeah.
You can learn so much.
But-
you can get your values, your beliefs challenged. Like
Yeah.
that's a huge
Yeah, and
thing.
you
I
can
love reading
find yourself.
challenging books.
Again, I'm not saying I think you should, but what I've seen people do, especially like with the mindfulness stuff, people like, you need to read this book. It will help you with this and this. But I'm thinking, hold on a second. This journey, this book may dictate how I feel or tell me how I should feel, which a lot of people end up saying, oh, this is how exactly how I felt.
You read something and
I'm
then
like,
you make your own opinion of it. Then you have more information to base your beliefs. Your
okay, fair enough.
It's honestly, because I'd read a book and then I'm like, I can't believe a couple of years ago I thought this, or like I'll read a book that's so maybe strongly opinionated, and that'll encourage me then to read like an opposite book, and then I'll make my own opinion because I'll have to like the extremists from.
But you make your own opinion.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. That's
yeah,
what I'm trying to say.
I know. You'll have people who will literally be like, "This is the Bible," like they'll be like,
and
"This
I'm
is
like,
the book," and I'm
I
like,
get you, but that has come from a person that has
Yeah.
experienced.
But
something.
I used to be like that, so I will say, like, if someone says, "Oh my God, this book is thing," and I'm like, "Yes," but I've obviously read so much more since that, and I'm like, "But have you read this
book,
one?"
yeah.
Because I'm like, "Gosh," like when I read probably The Secret, even I don't know, like that was amazing at the time, and then I'm like, "Oh," but then I've learned loads of other things.
It gets you in.
That's what I mean. Like,
it just gets you in. Like The Secret is so. It's like when we look back at The Secret, we're so far. Like we've read so many different books, and The Secret is
What
so.
is that about?
It's
So
just
The
about
Secret-
manifesting.
I think I watched it years ago.
Yeah, there's a thing, and
so-
that's the gist of
But
it.
it's so
like,
small, and like
they don't really talk about
you just need to know.
any of the substance.
You just need to
Yeah.
know that if you believe something, it can happen. If you actually have self belief, and like sometimes when you read someone else's story and you get some inspiration, it kind of gets you going.
Do you think people have that naturally?
I would give that for a first book for something.
Self belief.
No, absolutely not. That's my worst.
I was pretty.
I don't agree with that at all.
I had a lot of self belief growing up.
So did
I had none. No.
I was like, I'm going to be rich. I didn't know how or why, or like
No.
I knew I was going to be. Could be. I was like, I'm going to be.
You're gonna make it
I
happen.
was going to be a DJ. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be a pilot. But I had the belief that I could just
No.
do whatever I wanted
Thank
to
God it
do.
wasn't
I
a
just thought I
DJ.
was always going to work in
DJ
a bar.
Shivers.
Oh my God!
Play with
Don't touch my mixer.
Still could happen. Could have manifested.
Yeah, well, you can make it happen. You can make it happen.
Siobhan behind the deck, I can't deal with
I'm
it.
too stiff.
Like-
Too stiff. Like
It'd be techno. It'll be all techno.
hands up like this.
No, I
and
can't.
sharp
Like-
movements. Sharp. No, I'm just jamming. I'll be jamming. I'll be a sick DJ. That's what I should do.
No, you'd be playing all that.
What?
DJ
Go on.
DJ
What? Black music? Is that what you're gonna say? Go on.
I'm like, I
No,
don't know the
joking.
music that
No, I'm
you
joking.
dance to that I don't know what it is.
No, you'd be
Yeah,
a
no,
good
be a
DJ. DJ
techno
is the
DJ.
best one because nobody knows who you are, and you're
basically getting paid to
you
press
get paid a
buttons.
lot of money, and nobody knows your face. It's the best job.
What? Of course they know their faces.
You do like
No,
dead mouse vibes.
not
don't
really,
do
because I know some of them, yeah, but like
I work hard, man. I want them to see who worked hard for it, bruv.
No, I want to have the fun, enjoy the music, and then get off stage and no one else here. It's like Blind Boy. Do you don't know who Blind Boy is? Yeah,
Nah. Maybe probably a song.
he's one of the best podcasters in the world.
he is very
Really?
good. Yeah, he's.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look.
He wears a plastic bag on his head.
Oh, really?
He used to, when he was on stage, not doing the podcasts.
Oh,
got a
okay.
very
I was gonna say, that'd be annoying.
But it's a really interesting thing because he does it because he was really creative. I think he had weird stuff going up, but like he was really creative, but didn't want to be famous, and like so enjoyed making music and has made
He's an artist.
unbelievable stuff. So he used to like we looked after them in the right venue one night, and they're on stage. They're like from Limerick, and then they've got like these plastic bags on their head and they're singing, and then afterwards they take them off and they go off and they're in the crowd and no one knows there.
Do you wish you had a plastic
And
bag in
How
your head?
cool
Yeah.
is that?
I mean, he said it's great. He's like, I've been walking down Dame Street puking at the side of the road and there's no one going. Like,
Well, I've been puking at the side of the road and everyone's like, Sinead, what's a crack?
yeah, but that's what I mean. He knows what he says. He knows what it's like to walk into a room where everyone knows you and what it's like to walk into a room where no one knows you, and he prefers.
That is actually cool.
Yeah.
That is quite cool.
Yeah.
I'm a wee
That
bit
is-
jealous.
It's
of
too
my
late.
boy.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Fuck, I never thought of it like that. That's wicked, actually. That'd be pretty cool.
You should watch some of his videos. It's good. We'll show you after.
So, you were in Bali.
Longer than you.
No.
He hates that.
No.
He's just like, well, I was in Bali 5 years ago. I was like, no, you
When-
weren't.
It wasn't 5. I never said 5. I said 3.
You
I said
exaggerated
3.
it.
Yeah, we all love someone that exaggerates the story. You know, both in Bali. When it kicked off, when COVID kicked off, where were you?
I was
Oh,
in
the panic.
Thailand.
The panic.
Oh, the panic.
Did you?
No, I wasn't panicked at the time.
Were
I
you
was-
not supposed to meet us in Bali? And because I was in that room and then I ducked out. Remember?
Yeah, I was meant to go back because I was living in Australia, and then I had my retreat in Thailand.
We were going to go to Taiwan. Remember we were like, after your retreat, let's go to Taiwan on a holiday.
Yes, that's what was going to happen. And then
Coronavirus.
obviously the last one left in the hotel then. And I was like, okay, I think
No,
I should
she was like,
probably go.
because I was like, I'm going to stay. She was chatting. She's like, I'll stay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. And then I rang her in a panic that day
But
when
she's
you
really
left.
smart, so I just
When
agreed
I
with her.
panicked, she panicked, and we were like, okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Meet you in Dublin.
And then you went straight to.
Yeah, we got an Airbnb in Dublin and isolated there for 2 weeks. And then she went back to home, and then I went tranquility rings. She went home. I went to stay with Leanne. We were literally been floating since, like trying to
We have
do
been
everything.
floating
Yeah,
since.
but like it's so weird when you don't have a home and it's like stay home. It's like, well, where is?
Where is
home.
home? Where is it?
Australia.
I think
for me.
Bali is
Really?
for me. Yeah.
Well, Bali is like somewhere where I always want to have a house, and it's always been in my plan. But Australia is my home, like for me. And
Well, then it's like pending visas.
yeah, that visa. I've accepted the fact that I'm not going to get in there anytime soon, which is very sad because I have commitment issues in buying a house anywhere else or being anywhere else, and I'm so ready to have everything somewhere, but I've just not found that place where I'm like I want to be here. I love Bali, but I'm also a city girl, so like that's why Australia was perfect for me because I had the city and then I had the beaches and I had that kind of vibe.
Where in Australia would it be?
Well, I was in Sydney, obviously, and then
Would it be in Sydney though? Would it be in Bondi?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but then like you never know. In a few years, I could be like, "Oh, I'm done." But at that point, I felt like home. I felt really at home
Yeah.
there, and it was really sad. Like I had everything, like all my stuff was there. I had an apartment there. I had a boyfriend there
Yeah.
at the time, and then like it just. She's no,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that was really, and I feel so sorry for some people who are probably in the same situation, except they may have been there longer on holidays. And just got locked out like me. It's mental to think that's, and they're kind of stuck.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're like in and out, no bother with
I
your.
can go. Yeah.
Is it Australian passport? Is that what you call
I know, and you
Or
take
the-
it for granted. You
I could. No, I don't.
I want it. And you're like,
I worked
in
for
and
that, mate. I lived there for. I went there. When I first went there when I was 17. When you were in your village doing your crops. I did it then, so I got it quick because I got it before it was
Yeah.
really cool. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because it was hard then.
But I would actually love to have a home in Noosa.
Noosa's a vibe.
You would like Noosa. Have you been? No.
No.
Noosa's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I went the
Actually.
furthest up I went was Byron Bay, and I was like, "Oh, this is so nice. It's like Canggu except more expensive." And I was like, "I'm just going back to Canggu." Beaches
likes
were
a bit
nicer. Beaches were nicer in Byron.
But yeah, but Noosa is actually way better than that. Byron Bay at the minute is apparently like, I think it's turned into like the Magaluf of Australia.
Oh, because
No.
all the Australians have to
They
holiday
can't-
there.
They
No,
can't,
but it's
they
so-
can't go anywhere.
It's a. I know.
I know, per Kuta and Seminyak.
They can't go to
is
Bali.
empty.
Yeah,
It's very sad.
Yeah.
that's actually good for fucking Kuta. It's actually going back to its origin.
I
But
know.
anyway-
Yeah,
No,
they all
but-
live off the land. Like it's.
No, it's like we were doing.
Yeah,
we were
it's
working
really-
with like
it's difficult
charities
there.
over there. Like
Oh, were you?
yeah,
Yeah.
like going out to like feed families.
Break your
and
heart.
It's so sad because like they are literally like it. Even people that work in tourism now, it's like not filtering down to like there's just people starving and it's so
Yeah.
hard and you're there and you're.
What did you do for support?
So there's a place called at Feed Ballet if anyone wants.
feed_Bali.
Yeah.
And you can donate $25 and that'll feed a family for a month.
2 weeks. No,
Really?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Really?
yeah.
Yeah,
shit.
so we were doing that for a while, and then
Obviously donating.
we were like, it was so good that we were there. They were so thankful we were there. We raised
because
a lot of money.
we were able to then show it on our stories as well, and that helped raise loads of money, and it was brilliant. And
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so it felt good to be able to do
Did
something.
people
like, 'cause
recognize you there? Like to be like, did anyone recognize to be like thank you or anything?
Well, we were there
raised a
when
lot
we
of
were when
money,
we were
so-
given we were giving out like the packages to the families, and like the organisers of Feed Valley are great, but they like have categorized everything because they like make sure that all families are getting things equally and all this. So they were like taking pictures of them all, and I was like, I don't know, should we be getting photos? They're like, get pictures of the girls, and I was like, oh, I don't know, like, you know, but they were like so grateful. They're like, thank you so much. And,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
It would have broke your heart
honestly,
though.
like it was so sad.
Sad?
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. Like
Yeah.
even going there and
Because tourism is the main.
yeah, like
Yeah,
the
the
way they're
problem-
living right now. Some of them it's you know, and like it was like no wonder we raised that much money because like when people seen the images that we were putting out, they were like, "Fuck!" Like it's crazy. They
The
were
sad thing is,
swiping
it's
up
because
and-
You
Bali
would've
is
helped
such
the-
a small part of Indonesia.
Yeah, it was
like you know, it's like a small. I was trying to compare it because people are like, why don't they just open the borders? You know, why aren't they letting the tourists go? Well, obviously Australia aren't going to fly anyway, and that's where the majority of the tourists come from. But like Bali's such a small part of Indonesia, and it's like a small, say, tourist town in Ireland that isn't, you know, that everyone's suffering there, but for the protection of the whole country, they have the border closed. So it's like Bali isn't a priority for the government. I don't know. I don't really know. What
But
I'm
they're
talking
so
about.
kind to each other. Like at the stories that they were telling us, like we were, so basically like 2 weeks of food. So first of all, they don't have fridges, so they can't. Everything has to be really fresh. Has to be there every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So the first time they went to like a certain town, they like got the 2 week thing, and that's only going to do them 2 weeks as one family.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh my god, the few families need more, so they went back to get some. And by the time they went to the next house, they would already shared it all.
The first
They're
house had
only-
already given the food to the second house.
Yeah, you know,
It was like-
rice, and
Like they had so little, and
they just shared it, like, and they didn't have much, like.
But you know what? That just shows. And then we got fucking people here fighting for toilet paper.
yeah, no, like and to be honest, people were giving a shit going how like you're looking after that family, that country when your own country is there.
Shut
It's like
up.
it's so hard to do anything
What?
right. Yeah.
No
They're like,
way.
someone actually said to me, you're helping them when your own country's on its knees, and I was like,
So your
on your knees?
guys-
I was like, we're getting like everyone in Ireland is getting like paid from the government if they're not working. These people are starving to death.
Your guys, fans in Ireland, I love the Irish. They show mad love. I'm not gonna lie. They show mad love to me.
That's because we told them you're sound.
Yeah. Onwil Galdagam Adalgadi Al Harris. Yes.
I taught
Yeah, I
you
get
that
it.
like, well, kind of, but I taught you that like over a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, but I
so-
remember. Yeah, it's
Kind
good. Yeah, but you,
It was.
It's
I know,
alright.
to be honest, Sinead doesn't even probably know what you said.
yeah, exactly. I'll go toilet later. Don't worry. But you also can get a lot of hate as well, can't you?
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, you guys, like, there's been a few occasions where you've gone, like, what you just said now.
Yeah, like we get a lot of love. Like that's the thing. Like there's so, like people are like, how do you put up with it? I'm like, because there is so much support and like random love from people. Like even walking around London now, like people are stopping me, especially Irish girls in London there, and like there's so much support. And then, but yeah, I just think with anything, like I was trying to explain to Sinead the other day, I was like, you know, someone say giving out on her stories, I was like, that's like you walking into Croke Park, like the biggest stadium in Ireland, and saying anything that comes into your head to the 80,000 people there, and like one or two of them are like,
No.
don't like you, don't agree with what you're saying, don't have full context, gonna give out to you, gonna shout abuse at you, and forgetting that the rest of them are there cheering you on.
Yeah.
And I just think we do get stuff. The hardest thing for me is when they're saying lies, because I normally I just ignore it. I just don't want to address it. It's when they're just like making things up, and I'm like, that's annoying because I'd like to defend myself, but I also
what's an
don't
example?
want to give you.
You get the same amount as well.
Joe, I just thought of one example. Like I never would look at what people are saying, but sometimes someone tells me
Somebody will
what they've
tell
read
you,
about
like your
me.
friend or something.
Like I'd never go looking at what they're saying because it's not good
Yeah.
for my mental health or anyone. And I'd always advise
self-harm.
no one go look. So no, someone said once, this a couple of years ago, they were like, yeah, she went to my brother who's a physio, and instead of paying on the way out, she just goes, I'll post about it, and walked out. Right? Someone told me that they read that, and I was like, I've never been to a physio. Like, I was like, that's just a blatant lie. And the fact that, and of course, apparently in the comments they were all like, yeah, that's classic Siobhan. She did that as well to my thing. And like, that's what I'm like, I'd love to go in and go, hey, just so you know, I didn't go to a physio. You know, like, but I just wouldn't give them the energy because they're not going to turn around and go, oh, sorry, yeah. Like, they're not the kind of people who are going to, like, apologize or, you know. So I've learned, like, just not giving it energy. You know, like, I used to be afraid to block people in case I thought I was being too harsh. You know, and then I was like, gone. But it's like, initially now I'm like, probably the fake account gone. Like, and I actually don't care if I'm blocking real people. Like, because it's just, like, I just want to give my energy to the people who actually support me.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And like, it's just bare lies. Like, when I was isolating there, my cousin was like, oh, like, somebody said you were home and they seen you in the shop. I'm like, what?
They what?
They seen me in the shop.
Like, when she saw you
When I
isolating.
was isolating, I was like, what? Like, I'm in my house isolating. Like I was like, alright, whatever. And then, like, if one person says, oh, she's in the shop, oh, I seen her down the fucking little, you know, like, and then it was like this, and I'm like, literally in my house, like.
Yeah.
Like,
I do think women get it worse than men.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
honest. Yeah, 100%.
Do you think that? Do you get hurt here?
I think so. Because I've, 100%. I also think it also depends. Like, you know what I'm like on socials. I'm giving it back quite hard.
Yeah, you give it back. Like, you take, I'd see
If
some
I
stuff
bite
on, like,
back, it's for like
attention. Yeah.
before I would, if I was to be defensive about something in my head, I'm like, Dylan, why do you let that get to your head? But this is like when you're first exposed to this, right? But now, if I'm biting back, it's,
you know, it's to create
it's
some
like
attention.
it's for my it's for my benefit because I enjoy it so much. Like when someone said
I
to
never
me,
bite.
what was the other one? The last one. Someone said to me, I drove past Clapham Grand. I was like, "Hey guys, oh my god, I sold this out."
Yeah, I was
like,
sitting beside you in the car.
Oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. And then some guy was like, "Bore off, mate," or something. Didn't even follow me. And I was like, "Are you having a bad day?" He turns around and goes, "Actually, the weather's great. England's won. I'm having a fantastic day." I said, "So why don't you fuck off and have a fantastic day, you fucking prick?"
See, I wouldn't.
then
I couldn't say that.
I'm
No,
like,
but
I'm too nice.
it was for me. It was just like
nah.
banter.
What's the point? Like, you hear, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just like, I would never do that. And the person that does that, I think, and like, I read so much books on like these sort of people.
Oh, here we go. Fucking hell. This is exactly what I was talking about.
But it's
why
true.
can't you just say?
You have to understand that, like, as much as they don't want to admit it, like, it forms.
It's a reflection of them.
It's a reflection of their reformed desire. Like, they desired it, and not that they would. Someone listening going, as if I fucking desire that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, why are you pissed off?
I know. I'm really like, I used to. If ever I would reply, it's always like I try and be as rational as possible. Especially
I don't ever reply.
I just no, like if it's in the comments and someone's like, oh, look at this, and I'm like, I can be like, okay, like I sorry if you thought that, like, but this is what I actually meant, or, you know, it's because it's very hard. It's very tempting to get like emotive in the replies, or get sassy, or get like sarcastic. But then that just riles them up more. So I'm like, I always have to stop and think like, okay, this person is scrolling, doesn't know you, has no context, doesn't understand what you're trying to say here, and is after getting offended. Like, maybe explain it a bit more, or maybe they're just not happy, and maybe you should just be nice to them. And like, it's like,
No, but you know what? Sometimes because some of them deserve it.
I don't know. Sometimes, like, do you know what I love to do? Do you know my favorite?
I'm like, no, because you don't understand, right? So these people are doing this for a reason, right? They are writing to you for a reason. Their sole purpose for that day is their sole purpose is to annoy you, right? So when you actually show them that their purpose is being fulfilled, they're like, you know, when you fulfill purpose, when you get a client to do something good and you're buzzing, what do you want to do? You want to do it again.
Yeah, but
they want to do it again. Just leave it. They have not fulfilled their purpose because they have not got into my soul.
No, I agree with that sort of energy, but I think that's
they need something back.
Only if it's going to ruin my day, then I shouldn't do it. But it doesn't. It doesn't ruin my day. Yeah, and also, some people need to be told, or they're gonna. You know what?
Yeah, like for example, today someone wrote. Go on.
All right, let me say this quickly. For example. One of the most common issues in today's world is people are too silent and they don't speak up because they're not used to speaking up because they haven't had any level of suppression. I know my family have come from a background that they've been suppressed a lot. My dad is very outspoken about all these beliefs, and if he sees someone being treated unfairly, he will be the first one to step out of line and be like, what the fuck are you doing to that person? I've definitely got that attitude from them, that background. So therefore, and even like, how many times do you hear women getting sexually assaulted and all that, and people like what people turn around and be like, so why didn't you say something earlier to the female or something like that? It's because they're not used to, not enough people around them tells them to speak up.
I remember I don't know.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I was like, I think I told you I was seeing someone or something. You want me to kill someone? I'm like,
No.
you know, like that kind of like, you're there, you're defending,
you've got
you
a
will
big
stand
brother.
up for someone.
No, but I think it's important because, like, it's you know what, if for example my sister's dating someone, all my cousins and that, they'll be the first to be like, cool, bring him, let's chat to him, innit?
Yeah, that's what you were saying to me. Like,
and then we'll brought like,
Which I like.
which I like.
No, but
my brother is like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but see,
he's like, no.
and it also puts that element of like that family thing. It also makes that person know to like show some respect. It's not a like you're coming to beat someone. For example, my sister's boyfriend Ryan, when he came first,
like,
to
shout
meet,
out to Ryan. That would be so like, hi Ryan.
when he first met me and all my cousins, my sister was like, "Oh, Ryan's local. He wants to come and say hi to you." I said, "Perfect." All my older cousins were there, right? So it was like,
I can imagine you all stand there like this.
they're like a couple of them bold guys, and they're like, I'm like probably the softest looking one. They're all like North London. They're like, come in. He comes in and they all stand up. They're all like bigger than me as well, and they all shake his hand, give him a firm handshake, and then he starts talking about, oh yeah, we're going on holiday to thing with Sinead. My cousin just gets up, goes, who the fuck said you can go on holiday? but we're just like, we're messing with you, like,
and then we're
playing
probably
around.
sitting there like,
Yeah,
in the
nah.
background, he's like,
Nah.
yeah, we're not messing with you.
But it's just, it just creates that environment of letting people know that
I wish you could
there's
speak,
someone
but
there.
if there's not one troll in real life that will ever say anything to
in
me.
real life, yeah,
If someone
100%.
came up to me
No,
in real
that
life, I'd
happened
be
to
like,
me.
come on, I'd be like, sit down, let's talk about your childhood.
No, this
No, it
happened to
didn't.
me.
No,
I
it
swear to God, I was in Sydney the first weekend, walking to an Irish bar, and I hadn't seen Irish people in so long, and I was walking through, and all the girls were like stopping me, like, and I was with a friend, and she was kind of like stuck standing beside me because I kept talking from this girl to this girl to this girl. I get to the end, and this girl came up to me, she goes, "Why did you block me?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What's your name?"
You're a
And
fucking bitch.
no, and she said her name, and I actually remembered why. And I was like, yeah, I remember why. I was like, it's a long story. But basically, I was like, she was like, yeah, but that's not what I meant. And I was like, okay, well, just so you know, that's the way I took it up. And, you know, you were being mean and aggressive, so that's why I blocked you. And she's like, to be fair, then I unblocked her, and you know, she's actually sound now.
Oh, right? Okay. I confronted one girl. She's from my hometown. But she like fully came at me with a real account, like, and she went on Twitter and she was replying to my stories and she was being really nice, and I was like, why are you being nice to me when you say this about me on Twitter? And she was like, oh my God, that's not about you. And I said, I am the only person. She says, who do you think you are? You're only from down the road with your blue tick. I says, name me another person here with a blue tick. I was like, I drive up and down that road in my dad's van. I was like, what do you mean? Who do you think I am? Like, I'm not driving up and down. Like,
your village has like 3 houses, right?
and, yeah, I know. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to tell you a story. I actually like really defended myself at this point. I was like, told her a story.
You know, sometimes that's, I think, sometimes you can. So like today, someone wrote to me. It was like giving out, saying, I don't even follow you, but I just don't like the way you do this, this, and this. And like, she actually said something wrong. And so I replied and was like, because sometimes I'm like, I could leave it, but it just annoys you, and like, you know, you're accusing me of something that isn't true.
Yeah.
So I replied and I was like, hey, sorry, I can't remember her name, and I was like, just so you know, that's actually wrong, and just for your own sake, I'm gonna block you now because you are getting angry at the way I am living my life, when your opinion, and you're writing to me, and your opinion has absolutely no weight on what I'm gonna continue living my life. So I'm just gonna block you, and then I just wait for her to see it, and then when they start typing a reply, you block them.
Yeah. I'll do that as well.
Keeping it, you know, being really nice.
Mate, I got a lot of shit when I went to Australia, innit?
yeah.
And I actually went for work.
No, that's the thing. If you're, that's this thing. Like, if you follow the
I love
rules, you
work and I
can
have
travel.
fun.
You can follow the rules.
But if
Yeah,
you do it
it's-
safely, then
And like, people, you're allowed to travel within the UK, and people are going, she shouldn't be traveling. I'm like, you don't even have to get tested flying from Derry to here. Did you?
no, like it's,
My one was mental. I was traveling and I had to do 2 weeks in a hotel to tour with my best mate to support him. I didn't want to go Australia. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I was there. I remember I was chatting to you, and I was like, "Oh, you have a
It's
great
not
time."
like
You're like, "Can
you
we
just
back to
went
London?"
out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you had to do 2 weeks quarantine.
That's what I mean. Like,
they see you
travel's being
having
vilified.
fun.
No, yeah, travel's being vilified, even though it can be done safely and within the rules.
Yeah.
That
How
like,
many tests?
the
you
thing,
need to
there's
get, like?
literally people that are breaking the rules. Like, I know there's people coming back and forth to London from Ireland, and
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
love
yeah.
to go home and see my family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can if I go and do the 2 weeks self isolation, and or else people are like, oh, you can just fly through Belfast to go down. I'm like, no, because if I do it, I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
But yet, no matter what I do right,
Yeah.
they'll still make it bad. Like
Yeah.
so. And the thing is, as long as I know what I'm
But
doing,
you
it's
do
not.
anything right. When I was sitting in the house before I went to ballet, obviously at the time my boyfriend lives next door to me, and you were allowed households at that time. We're like, you're not allowed to mix households, and I'm like, well, he lives next door to me. I'm not gonna. And like I was getting so much shit for that, and I was like, I may as well be doing actually what I want to do and like travel safely to ballet, do my quarantine, and get there. So it was just like, you may as well. You're gonna get shit if you're sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you always.
That's why I had to say that to her. Like I was like it's like your visa's been approved. You're allowed to fly again. And she was like, no, I'm gonna get so much shit.
It
And
wasn't even
like,
that I wasn't gonna get so much shit. I didn't want to disrespect anyone. I didn't want people to. And then I was
And
like,
I was
well,
like, Sinead, they're
I'm
gonna
not
get. I was like, you're gonna get hate either way. I was like, you might as well get hate when you're sitting here in Bali safely. I don't know. I could look back and say, were we wrong to this, isn't this? But like honestly, following the rules, doing the testing, we're not the only ones on those planes. Like the planes are full.
Listen, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Me too.
Sushi?
Yeah, should we call it a day with this?
Yeah.
I have a question before we end. You know the way you give me shit about my shoes?
Okay.
What do we think of these? They just arrived.
I have them
Pumas?
in
Are they
cream.
Pumas?
Yeah.
I think Pumas are cool because I'll tell you why. They're trendy.
Yeah, because I mean, I look at them and go, they look like 90s soccer mom, but everyone
No,
else
but
told
that's
me they're
cool
cool.
though.
Is that
That's a vibe
Yeah,
though.
I like them. I have them in
That's a
cream.
vibe.
I have them in like a different color.
okay?
I'm not really sure about
I need to ask you what my next ones are.
those Air Forces.
These, I would have thought they were cool. I thought Air Forces were cool. You told me they were cool.
I prefer plain Air Forces.
Okay.
Sorry.
What are
What
those?
size are you?
Five?
These are Yeezys.
Sorry, I can't hear you over that loud t-shirt.
Oh shit. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you guys for coming on. You guys, I could say the whole. Where can they find you? That you know where you can find them.
Shiv.
Not really.
O'Hagan.
Already, go on. Go ahead.
Sinead Haig.
Darren, you've got a lot of new followers now since we were last on.
I'm
I
sorry.
was
you
your-
gonna
I
do
was
my
your
meditation
first
course?
guest.
Sorry.
Are you
What
going to
do
do my
you mean?
meditation course?
I was your first guest.
Oh, actually. Oh, you know what? Oh shit! I've got more followers than you guys. Sorry, guys. Oh shit, guys! Please, can you tell them where they can find you?
Hi, I'm
You know
Siobhan.
what? Wait, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't the case before.
Yeah. I know, you've shot up. You've been working
When
hard.
I went to Australia, I've been going hard with the videos. Anyway, I do apologize, guys. Thank you guys for coming on. I do really appreciate your time.
You'll put our handles in the show notes.
Yeah, I will.
Thank
I
you.
will. Siobhan, Sinead, where can people find you? Can you please website, podcast? I know you got a great podcast.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
ever listened?
No. She showed me the downloads, so I assumed. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, so go on.
I am at Sinead Haig and the Sinead Says podcast.
At
It's just
Shiv.
above Diren on the UK charts if you want to.
Oh, really?
Just above.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know.
It's probably because I haven't done an episode for a while. That's why.
This one's gonna be.
I'm on a
Yeah.
I'm on a break anyway, so you're
Okay,
good.
sweet.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Shiv.O'Hagan, that's all. SIOBH, because no one knows how to spell Shiv. That was a mistake.
Thank you guys for listening. Serenine, my videographer, cut that bit out. No, I'm joking. Thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe, share. Peace and love. I don't know why I'm moving my hands. Take it easy.